Peggy, which is coming out in November. But yeah, not to worry about that.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sabrina. So excited to have you here. Today we are going to be doing a Goodwill book haul. This is because there was a Goodwill bookstore that opened from about an hour away from me, and clearly we needed to go check it out, and we were low-key kind of disappointed. I'll dive in to the books we picked out. I'm going to include the prices, what I paid for them, and a little synopsis and why I picked it out. So let's go. First thing I got was November 9 by Colleen Hoover. I am so on the edge about Colleen Hoover books. They're 50-50 for me. Either they're really good or they're horrible, and I just don't like the way she explores trauma, which is definitely a personal opinion, so don't come at me, I'm so sorry. This book says Fallon meets Ben, an inspiring novelist, the day before her scheduled cross-country move. Their untimely attraction leads to them to spend Fallon's last day in LA together, and her eventful life becomes a creative inspiration Ben has always sought for his novel. Over time, and amidst the various relationship and tribulations of their own separate lives, they continue to meet on the same day every year, until one day Fallon becomes unsure if Ben has been telling her the truth of fabricating a perfect reality for the sake of an ultimate plot twist. These cats are playing with toys. Can Ben's relationship with Fallon and simultaneously his novel be considered a love story if it ends in heartbreak? So this is the one that I think might actually be good and not horrible. I feel like Colleen Hoover just pumps out books, and I think that's why I don't like her. Sorry to everyone who loves her. And then I also got Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Oh, this book was $4. This book was also $4. This one says an unforgettable love story that breaks all the rules. It's not exactly love at first sight for Tate when she meets the tormented and secretive Miles Archer. They wouldn't even go so far as to consider themselves friends. The only thing Tate and Miles have in common is a mutual physical attraction that can't be denied. Once their desires are out in the open, they realize they might have stumbled on the perfect no-strings-attached arrangement. He isn't looking for love, and she doesn't have time for it. What they've got could be surprisingly satisfying as long as Tate can stick to the two rules Miles has for her. Never ask about the past, don't expect a future. They think they can handle it, but everything is different when emotions start to change everything. We'll see. We're 50-50 about Colleen Hoover. I'm sorry for everyone who loves her. Next one we got was Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watts. This one was $2. This one says, memories define us, so what if you lost yours every time you went to sleep? Your name, your identity, your past, even the people you love, all forgotten overnight. And the one person you trust may be telling you half the story. I read one single book that had memory loss in it, which was the why can't I think of it? I can think of the cover, but I can't think of the name of the book, and it was horrible. I DNF'd it about 50 pages in. It just was not executed right, so I'm hoping this one's better. We can fingers crossed if it was better, but we'll definitely see. Next, I have Scared Little Rabbits by A.W. Grieser. This book was $3, and I'm actually really excited for this one because it's like a murder mystery, and I really need to read more thrillers and mysteries. This one says, when Nora gets accepted into her dream summer program at the prestigious Winthrop Academy, she jumps at the chance to put her coding skills to use. But when a fellow student goes missing and the tech trail for crime leads back to Nora, with no one else to trust, Nora must race to uncover the truth and clear her name, or she might be the next to disappear. We love boarding schools. We love boarding school drama. We love rich people drama. So hopefully this one's really good. Dorcas is in here sniffing my new books because they don't smell like us, clearly, because they've been at the Goodwill. But she is not liking it. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog losing her mind in the background. Next we have Jack of Hearts and Other Parts by Elsie Rosen, and I talked about this one in the reading vlog if you guys watched the reading vlog from this week. This one I'm so excited for. I might read this one after Forged by Malice, but we'll see. Jack's reputation is only partially deserved. Jack has a lot of sex, and he's not ashamed of it. While he's sometimes ostracized and gossip constantly rages about his sex life, Jack always believes that it could be worse. But then the worst unexpectedly strikes. When Jack starts writing a teen sex column for his friend's blog, he begins to receive creepy and threatening love letters that attempt to force Jack to curb his sexuality and personality. Now it's up to Jack and his best friends to uncover the stalker before their love becomes dangerous. This one sounds so good. So good. and it was $4. Next one I have is The Possibility of Now by Kim Culbertson. I usually don't go for books with real people on the cover, but we went for it and I'm a little excited, a little nervous about it, so we'll see. This one says, Mara James has always been a perfectionist with a plan. Secure the valedictorian spot, ace the SAT, and get into a tier 1 college. But despite years of successful overachieving at her elite school and constant planning, it all falls apart. Mara didn't plan on having a total meltdown during her calculus exam. Like, rip up the test and get escorted out of the school kind of meltdown. And she definitely didn't plan on ever wanting to show her face in school again. Mara knows what she should do. Go back to the school with her head held high, ace the SAT, write an amazing college essay about said meltdown, get into a tier 1 college. Only she can't bring herself to do that because suddenly she doesn't know why she's been overachieving all those years. So Mara tells her mom she must go live in Tahoe with her estranged dad, Trick Mahale, a ski bum avoiding any real life, because there Mara can figure some things out. Except Tahoe is nothing like she thought it would be. There are awesome new friends and a chance to finally get to know Trick, but there are also massive amounts of schoolwork. Can Mara find a balance between the future and the now, or will she miss out on both? This one was $2. We love YA books set in high school. I don't know why, but we love them. So we're excited for this one. Next one we have is Love Lucas by Chantel Sedgwick. I'm also excited for this one because it explores a lot of grief feelings. This one was $1. And we have When Oakley loses her older brother Lucas to cancer, she thinks she'll never recover. When mom suggests they spend a few months in California with Aunt Jo, Oakley isn't sure a change of scenery will alter anything, but she's willing to give it a try. In California, Oakley discovers a sort of safety and freedom in Aunt Jo's beach house. Once they're settled, mom hands her a notebook full of letters addressed to her from Lucas. As Oakley reads each one a day, she realizes how much he loved her, and each letter challenges her to be better and to continue to enjoy her life. He wants her to move on, if only it were that easy. But then a surfer named Carson comes into her life and Oakley is blindsided. As she lets him in, she is surprised at how much she cares for him, and that's when things get complicated. How can she fall in love and be happy when Lucas never got the chance to do the very same thing? With her brother's dying words as guidance, Oakley knows she must learn to listen and trust again, but will she have to leave the past behind to find happiness in the future? We love books that deal with grief. Maisie's eating her dinner. The next one we have is Everything Matters! By Ron Curry Jr. This book was $3 at the bookstore. This one says, Junior grew up in a rural Maine in the time of Atari, baseball cards, pop, Catholicism, and cocaine. He knows something no one else knows. Neither his exalted parents, nor his baseball solvent brother, nor the love of his life. The world will end when he is 36. While Junior searches for meaning in a doomed world, his loved ones tell an all-American family saga of feathers and suns, blinding romance, lost love, and reconciliation, culminating in one final triumph and that reconfigures the universe. We're excited. This one sounds very good. Modern Love by Emma Straub. This one is a library binding, and we love library bindings. Thank you. Okay, so this one says, friends and former college bandmates Elizabeth and Andrew and Zoe have watched one another marry, buy real estate, and start businesses and families, all while trying to hold on to the identities of their youth. Back in the band's heyday, Elizabeth put on a snarl over her Midwestern smile, Andrew let his unwashed hair grow past his chin, and Zoe was the lesbian all the straight woman wanted to sleep with. Now nearing 50, they live within a shouting distance of the same neighborhood deep in gentrified Brooklyn, and the trappings of adult worlds seem to have arrived with ease. But the summer that their children reach maturity and start sleeping together, the adults find that nothing ages them quite like having to pass the torch to their own offspring. Nothing except maybe the renewed vantage this gives them to their own past. Over the course of this summer and its attending event, the fabric of the adults' lives suddenly begin to unravel, and secrets and revelations that are finally let loose about these longtime friends and about the famous fourth band member who soared and fell without them can never be recovered. This one was $3. Next we got, I talked about this too in the reading blog, so I purchased the third book. So I'll probably read the synopsis of the series. But we got Fire with Fire and Ashes to Ashes by Jenny Han and Sobian Vivian. There's the third book. I'll pop a picture of it somewhere on here. But let me tell you what this is about. So this synopsis of this series is, Mary is perpetually haunted by a traumatic event from years past, and the boy who's responsible has yet to get what's coming for him. None of the girls can act on their revenge fantasies alone without being suspected, but together anything is possible. So I got second and the third book at the Goodwill for $6. So they were $3 a piece. And then I just ordered the first book, which unfortunately they didn't have. I ordered the first book, which I feel like I've had Burn by Burn before, but I don't know why. Burn by Burn I purchased on Thrift Books for $6, so altogether that series was $12. Next one I got was Shopaholic to the Rescue by Sophie Kinsella. I actually almost bought another one of the Shopaholic books today, but I didn't. So this one says, Becky is on a major rescue mission. Her father has vanished from Los Angeles on a mysterious quest with her best friend's husband. Becky's mom is hysterical. Her best friend Susie is desperate. Worse, Becky must tolerate an enemy along for the ride who she's convinced is up to no good. Determined to get to the bottom of why her dad has disappeared, help Susie contain Alicia, and reunite her fractured family, Becky knows she must marshal her trademarked ingenuity. Blah, blah, blah. I cannot say that word. The result, her most outrageous and daring plan yet. But just when her family needs her more than ever, can Becky pull it off. I love Sophie Kinsella. We love her. Next, we have The Lies I Told by Mary Burton, which this cover intrigued me. This one was $2. This says some of her past is too painful to forget, some of it is too terrifying to remember. Twin sisters Marissa and Claire Stockton were 16 when Claire's body was found in Virginia James River. No arrests were made, and 14 years later, Marissa's friends and dedicated career as a photographer help her to cope with the open wound of the past. Marissa still feels hurt, and the unsolved murder isn't the only thing haunting her. A recent car crash that erased 10 days of Marissa's memories, a black hole leading up to the accident that's left her disoriented. Every text and phone call from that crucial missing time has vanished, along with her phone. A photograph she took of the river has disappeared. A new neighbor Marissa believes she knows introduced herself as if he were a stranger. And there are the growing fear that her near-fatal accident was no accident at all. As dreams of Claire and nightmares of the crash begin to converge, so do two disturbing puzzles 14 years apart. Putting the puzzle together could be fatal. As she struggles to remember everything, Marissa closes in on a killer without realizing he's already closed in on her. Literal goosebumps. Literal goosebumps. So the next two books I got have been all over my Kindle Unlimited and my TikTok. Everybody is talking about Frida McFadden. I don't know what's going on, but everybody is talking about her. So I got Do You Remember and Want to Know a Secret. So Do You Remember, it says, who do you believe when you've forgotten your life? It says Tess Strabel can't recognize her own face. She can't recognize her home, her bedroom is unfamiliar, and she can't remember the handsome stranger lying next to her in bed, a stranger who claims she's her husband. Tess reads a letter in her own handwriting composed during a rare lucid day explaining her life as it now exists. She was in a terrible car accident 1 year ago. Every morning she wakes up unable to remember most of the last decade, including her own wedding. Tess has no choice but to accept her new life and hope her memory will return. After all, why would she doubt the letters she wrote herself, or the kind man from the wedding photos on her dresser who seems to genuinely care about her well-being? And then Tess receives a text message on her phone, one that changes everything. Don't trust the man who calls himself your husband. So we'll see what happens. This one sounds really interesting too. I'm getting really into like thriller mysteries. It's like a theme. It's a theme in this shopping list. Next one we got is The Want to Know a Secret. This one says everyone has secrets. YouTube baking sensation April Masterson knows the secret to the perfect gooey brownies, or how to make key lime squares that will melt in your mouth. But if you keep watching her offline, you may find out some other secrets about April. Secrets she'd rather you didn't know. Where did her son go when he snuck out of the house? What was she doing with the local soccer coach behind fogged windows? What's buried in her backyard? Everyone has secrets. Some are worse than others. April's secrets are enough to destroy her. I'll make sure of that. These were $3 and they sound, or $2 a piece. These are $2 a piece. Very last book. The very last book. We are excited for this one. Mia has a plan for her future, finally win the Golden Ivy student film competition, get into her dream school across the country, leave New York City behind once and for all. Mia's ticket to winning the competition falls into her lap when indie film star and known harmbreaker Emmett Ramos enrolls in her high school under a secret identity to research his next role. When Mina sets out to persuade Emmett to join her cause, he offers her a deal instead. He'll be in her short film if she acts as a tour guide to help him get a photography contest. As Mina ventures across 5 boroughs with Emmett by her side, the city she grew up in starts to look different and more like home than it ever was before. With the competition deadline looming, Mina's dream, which once seemed so impenetrable, begin to crumble. When she's forced to ask herself, is winning worth losing everything? How friggin' cute. This one was $3. How many books did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 books. And I want to say I spent around $30-ish. Girlies. it's the best, because honestly, who is spending $100 on books? Sometimes I see these booktubers who are going shopping sprees and spend hundreds of dollars. Nobody can afford this. And when I see my bookshelves that I'm disgusted when I look at, most of these were thrifted or I got for cheap, because your girl does not buy new books. Actually, she do. But then I have a rabbit who does things like this. Clever, but she's definitely ate one too many of my books. Anyhoodles, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this has encouraged you to go thrifting for your books. And that's all I got. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back to spend some time with me. And I think we're over. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.